Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. Happy Friday to you. Delicious coffee. I hope you slept well. What a screwy world. All right. We've got kind of a combination of politics. We've got a combination of social dynamics and a combination of religion, all in one story that we need to think about from the perspective, from the chair of shit hitting the fan. And of course, it has to do with America, right? It seems like it's the heart of all of this experimentation, toying with people's minds. The headline at thehill.com is Trump, Israel shouldn't let Omar and Tlaib visit country. President Trump on Thursday said Israel should not allow two U.S. congresswomen with whom he is feuded to enter the country for an upcoming trip to Israel and the Palestinian territories. Trump tweeted that it would show great weakness on Israel's part. Who cares what Trump said at this point? He came out and made it a point to tell Israel, don't allow these people in. Now, it has this story, this request, this notification by Trump. It has serious implications. These two women are neo-feminists. Neo-feminists wearing the white pantsuit at the State of the Union. They're neo-feminists. That's a social, legislative, judicial, social movement, right? It has to do with using courts and laws to get what they want. And what they want isn't good for America on a lot of different fronts, but we'll start with the feminist thing. Very much feminist. Now, I don't know why Omar isn't in more trouble. Wasn't she found to be, well, I guess maybe they're going to have the court case. Maybe they just threw everything out. Maybe there was insufficient evidence. But she was accused of fraud on a number of levels. Also, I believe having to do with, well, never mind, just fraud. She married her brother to get him in the country. I mean, come on. If that isn't fraud, what is? So we've got the feminist thing. We have the religious aspect of this. Both Omar and Tlaib, they are Muslim Americans. And what is it that they're doing? They're going to Israel to visit Israel and Palestine. How can this be good for Israel to invite American Muslims? I mean, Israel is a nation state that has a religious identity. And that's a fact. It is not anti-Semitic to point that out. It isn't even overly Semitically, shall we say, aware to bring that up. It is a fact, and it is a main focus of anti-Israel politics. Anti-Israel is Palestine and everywhere else that has Muslims that are pissed at the nation of Israel. So inviting two openly, orally, blah, congresswomen from the United States who are going to say things that will inflame the Muslim-Israel tension, inviting them in or allowing them into your country, not good, right? Additionally, you know, they're ding-dongs. They aren't what I would consider to be representatives of intelligentsia. Instead, they seem to be demagogues of left-wing political religious ideologies. So, you know, this is interesting. Now, Trump is the one who tweeted, hey, don't let him in, you shouldn't. And after he put out that tweet, Israel confirms, according to this news story, that it will not allow Representatives Omar and Tlaib to visit, right? Just minutes after the Trump tweet, right, to pressure Israel to disallow entry, right? Cannes reports that Israel has decided to bar entry. Did Israel really need Trump to tell him to do that? Or does this just bring more media attention to the fact that this was going to happen? I don't think Omar and Tlaib really expected to be allowed in. If they did, it would show a sign of weakness on Israel to allow such inflammatory personalities into the country. It just wouldn't do. It wouldn't do. But what is the fallout of this? What can we expect to come out of this? Because Trump entered this particular arena, because of that, it is going to spawn more verbal attacks from these two of the four horsemen, or horsewomen, horse-faced women. What do I call them? Yeah, the horse-faced women. Because AOC, and I think is it Kamala Harris? Who's the other one? I don't know. But they are all loud and out of their minds, in my opinion. They are. They are. Omar and AOC are the worst of them, but they are all representative of a mindset here in the United States that is pushing for conflict. Now, they're pushing for change. They want more of everything they want, and they want none of what it is that we have a right to, a need to. Right? A need, as in we need freedom. We need the Constitution. We need our rights respected. But no, they don't want that. So it's critical to see the continuing fallout from this type of activity. We can, as preppers and as patriotic Americans, expect even more hatred towards Trump, which means more hatred towards anyone that doesn't agree with them, because they equate anyone who doesn't agree with them on the radical, social, political, religious left. If you don't agree with them, you must be with Trump. And since Trump has been framed and characterized as a racist, as a Hitler supporter, because of that, because they framed him that way, anyone who doesn't support them must be with him. Oh, that's the Bush doctrine. You're either with us or you're against us. Are you kidding me? See how dangerous that sort of hyperbole can be. It's not just dangerous to our enemies or dealing with enemies in other states. It is now dangerous domestically and politically. Our domestic politics are now polluted with a political ideology of you're either with us or against us. And it is a political, religious, and a political, economic, and a political, social specter that looms over the Democrat Party. They accuse people on the right of being fascists, being Nazis. But we are not organizing in such a way to create groups. To create groups that are fomenting a violent response. This is the fallout that's going to come from this. These women can now claim that they have been denied, wrongly so, entry into another nation. Remember, they don't believe in borders, but they have been wrongly denied entrance into Israel. As a result, right, their hatred can grow. Their feigned hatred and feigned outrage can grow. They could fly into Turkey or Lebanon or Egypt and take a boat cruise over to the shores of Israel and get off and weasel their way into Palestine if they want to do that. And interview the people and offer their condolences. I don't think the Palestinian people would be particularly pleased to see these two ding-dongs. I don't think they would be, because they are ding-dongs. They are not intelligentsia. They are demagogues. Demagogues. And they won't get the attention that they think they're going to get over there. I don't think the European media is going to kiss their little rosy cheeks. Either or any of them. I don't think that. I think they're probably laughing at them. Absolutely laughing at them. But it will inflame the most ignorant amongst the Muslim world that want more reason to hate Israel and more reason to scream for conflict. Now, over there, I don't think anyone's right. I don't like any of what's going on. I don't like how Israel is hated by everyone, and I don't like how everyone hates Israel. I don't like it because of the threat it represents, an existential political threat. right? To our world. That's what they represent. But this one little chapter represents another shit it's the fan moment. How much more desperate will people on the left be? And how much more triggered will they be because this has happened? What an outrage. What a racist, misogynist, sexist, bigoted, xenophobic president is Mr. Trump for doing this. Politically, I think it's a great move. It draws a more distinct line between the left and himself. But in today's political environment that's charged with ignorance along dramatic or, dare I say, aggressively violent lines. In other words, the divisiveness isn't going to be accepted as intellectual, as in, see the difference between us? Instead, it's going to be, look what he did to us. Look how evil he is. This is why we should hate him. You see, it used to be that you could intellectually demonstrate a difference between yourself and an opponent, and it was accepted. Yeah, that's them, and yeah, this is us. And it made sense for purposes of discussion. But the left has turned this into hate and violence. Threats of hate, promises of violence. And it's coming, so we must be prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. You must have a plan and be prepared. Not to go on the offensive, not to be some kind of wacko, but to defend yourself. To defend yourself. I have not, me personally, I have not gone after anyone to get them fired. No, I haven't. Right? But, right? I have not gone after anyone and proposed violence towards them. Right? I haven't done those things, but they've been done to me. I'm sure they've been done to you, and you may not even know it. You may not even realize that there's people out there who are gunning for you if you have revealed your, shall we say, positions on a number of key issues that are important to these leftist ding-dongs. To me and you, we're laughing at these dipshits. Omar and Tlaib, or Tlaib, or whatever the name is. Just laughing at them. They aren't laughing at you. They're looking at you, and they will deride you and instigate violence against you. They may not personally say your name, but they will make it known that people like you, because you have exposed yourself by not openly agreeing with them. You don't even have to openly oppose them. You just have to not agree. They can ask you a question, and if your facial expression doesn't say, I love the position of the Democrat Party, open borders, entitlements for all. It's a world that doesn't have borders. And it's a world where you have to accept the Muslim faith and put down the Christian faith and all other faiths. If you just don't agree with them vehemently enough, right? If you aren't enthusiastically agreeing with them, they're going to suspect that you're their enemy. In a world that's becoming this extreme, and it is becoming this extreme, in a world that is this extreme, we have to understand the level of threat these people represent, because they're telling us that's what they represent. They truly have. I don't have to make this shit up anymore. Or I don't have to exaggerate what the future is bringing us, because the future is here. We're now seeing the shit I talked about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when I would talk to family and friends and say, I can see this stuff coming. I can see a day, and believe me, they've surprised and surpassed all of my prior predictions. And the consequences of shit hitting the fan are much more horrific today than I would have ever believed they would have been 10 years and 15 and 20 years ago. I would have expected only the wacko crazies to be out of line. Now I expect 50% of the population to be completely whacked out when shit hits the fan. And of the remaining, shall we say, more conservative viewpoint, they're still dangerous if they're not prepared. It is much worse today, so get prepared. Chance favors the prepared mind. I pray that you see and understand how something as simple as what Trump has done and what Israel has agreed to do, it's not just a cute political stunt. It is to them, the Democrats, an act of aggression that requires an aggressive and violent response at some point. I'll talk to you guys again soon.